Girl, your pop, she's just like me, though. I would have forgot that popcorn. Ha! Almost burnt my house down a week ago.
Yes.
Scary Movie is so good! I basically have seen this because it's a Scary Movie. Also, they did not wash their hands at all. Who's next? Go, go, go,
Hi,
go,
Gail Weathers.
go. No, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Don't underage drink, kids. And everybody, don't drink and drive.
Your real name?
That's stupid. Don't do that. Hey you guys, welcome to Kemma's Never Seen It. I'm Kemma, and today the movie we're going to be talking about is Scream. Today I am dressed up as Lord Farquaad from Shrek 1. I've seen 1 and 2 religiously, but I don't know if I've seen 3. I can't really remember. I remember bits and pieces, but I don't know if I've seen it all the way through. And if you have never been here before, I take movie suggestions on movies I've never seen, which is almost every movie ever created. Watch them, give a quick synopsis of what they're about, and then give my opinion. Will my opinion differ from yours? Probably. But if you've never seen this movie before, I'm putting a big spoiler alert right here because we're about to talk about it. Now that we got that out the way, let's get into what this movie's about based on the DVD cover summary. After a series of mysterious deaths befall their small town, an offbeat group of friends led by Sydney Prescott become the target of a mass killer. As the body count begins to rise, Sydney and her friends find themselves contemplating the rules of horror films as they find themselves living in a real life one. Before we start, I just want to say that I was kind of put at a disadvantage with this movie because though I've never seen it, I've seen Scary Movie before. And watching that and recalling what happened in the movie Scary Movie, I mean, the Wayans brothers, the Wayans family, you guys, you know what you're doing. You can't be defeated. But we start off with Casey. It looks like she's home alone and she keeps getting these calls from this number. The first time she picks up, she's just like, hello. And the person's just like, hey, who is this? And she's just like, maybe you have a wrong number. She hangs up. She picks up again, same person trying to talk to her. And they're just like, I mean, we can just like talk and, you know, whatever. And he keeps trying to ask her stuff about her personal life. She likes scary movies, if she has a boyfriend and all this. She's just home trying to make popcorn and have a good night, and this random person keeps calling and calling. Then as they're talking, he slips up and says that he can see her, and she's just like, wait, what'd you say? And he's just like, oh no, I want to know who I'm talking to, not who I'm looking at. Sorry, that's crazy. This is where all hell breaks loose.
Why do you want to know my name?
I want to know who I'm looking at.
He keeps calling, she keeps hanging up, he keeps calling, she keeps hanging up, and he's getting mad at her. And he's just like, listen, if you hang up one more time, I'm gonna get you. Like, stop hanging up on me, that's rude. And then he's just like, I thought we were supposed to be going out. You said we can go out. She's like, I have a boyfriend. I don't want to go out with you. I want you to leave me alone. And he's just like, oh, is this your boyfriend? He has her boyfriend out on the porch, tied up, bleeding. And then he's just like, yeah, now you'll listen to me, won't you? Let's play a game. Plot twist, they play a game. She gets the game wrong because he tricked her. And because of that, he kills her boyfriend. Mind you, the popcorn she was making on the stove, she never took it off. Which honestly, I can relate to that so much. Sometimes you're doing something and then you're doing something else. I haven't been diagnosed with anything, but I wouldn't be surprised if I got a diagnosis back because I'll be doing something, then I stop that to go do something else, completely forget about it. The first thing that I did, I get her, you know. The house is smoking, but like, you know, your brain's already over here. So the house is smoking because of the popcorn, and the person we presume who is on the phone with her is in the house now. We see him run by. She tries to sneak her way outside, and when she does, she sees a car coming in the distance. Now, it looks like this is one of those houses that's really far from other people. So it's pretty secluded. Again, this is a small town, so like secluded areas, and like each house has their own like probably acreage of land. But she sees a car coming and she's trying to sneak over to it, but that's not before the killer sees her. She does fight back, which is great. And she starts running towards the car, but unfortunately she's too slow and the killer ends up getting her and stabbing her in the chest. But she's still not giving up. She's still trying to walk towards, it looks like it's her parents actually getting out the car. They just walk into the house while she's trying to crawl to them, but she can't speak because he choked her out, so her voice is all messed up. And parents get into the house. They see it's all smoky. They're calling out Casey's name. They're not hearing from her. Meanwhile, the phone, she's still on the phone. So the parents are in the house. House is smoking. They're looking for Casey. Can't find Casey. And again, they are just like, let's just call the police. They grab the house phone. Now, if you don't know, with house phones, everything is connected. This was back in the 90s, so all the phones are connected. So you could easily eavesdrop on somebody's call by just picking up the phone and making sure that little click didn't come on. Well, like I said, Casey is still on the phone. So when her parents pick up the phone to call the police, they can't. The line's already in use, and they can hear their daughter getting killed. Do they know that's what's happening? No, but they can hear it all in the background. The husband tells the wife, go to the neighbor's house, drive to the neighbor's house, and go call the police. As soon as the mom walks outside, she looks up, she screams, and they see their daughter hanging from a tree, guts outside her body. Killer got her. And that's just the beginning of the movie. Again, what a way to open a movie. But now we're going to meet Sydney. Sydney looks like she's just doing some homework on her computer, and her boyfriend, Billy, comes up and sneaks in her window. Scares her a little bit, so her dad walks upstairs, says, hey, are you okay? Everything fine? She's like, yeah. And he's gonna be going out of town for a business trip, so she's just gonna be home alone. Dad leaves, and she continues to talk to Billy as he, had to hide from him. So they're in high school. And that being said, horny teenagers. And it looks like Billy is just like, yeah, snuck up here. Let me get some of that. But I believe Sydney's a virgin, so she's not too swayed. Then he leaves, and we go on to the next day where we go to school. News reporters everywhere, everybody talking. Sydney's walking around. She's just like, what's happening? Her friend who we meet, her name is Tatum. She comes up. She's just like, Casey and her boyfriend were killed yesterday. Like some slasher movie stuff. And everyone's trying to figure out who did it. They don't know if it was a student. They don't know if it was a teacher. Again, this is a small town, so you got to kind of question everybody. Who did what? And then we also see, again, just all these different news reporters trying to figure out what's going on. And then eventually they call Sydney into the office. Again, the sheriff and a deputy. The deputy, his name is Dewey, I believe, and he's Tatum's brother. They're just questioning her, just asking basic questions. I'm sure that they asked to everybody, maybe switching some up to try to trick her up. But obviously, she didn't have anything to do with it. And then outside of that, we meet all the friends together. So we have Billy and Sydney, who are boyfriend and girlfriend. We have Tatum and her boyfriend, Stu. And then we have Randy. And Randy, I didn't know this until later on in the movie. That's not Randy, that's B-Rad. I've seen Malibu's Most Wanted. Funny, stupid movie, but that's B-Rad, not Randy. Then later after school, Sydney goes home, but with everything going on, she doesn't feel like she wants to be home. So she calls Tatum. She's like, hey, can I come over tonight? Blah, 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 blah. Tatum says yes, of course. And then Sydney's on the couch kind of flipping through the channels. Of course, all the channels are talking about what happened with Casey and her boyfriend and everything going on. And then there's a news reporter who also relates what happened with Casey to another woman that happened a year previously. She was also assaulted and a year earlier. And turns out that was Sydney's mom. So Sydney just turns off the TV because, again, that makes her sad, of course, having to reminisce what happened to her mom. And she ends up falling asleep. When she wakes up, it's nighttime. And Tatum calls her and it's just like, hey, I'll be over there soon. I'm going to come and get you. So she hangs up. And then 3 seconds later, the phone rings again. She thinks it's Tatum, but it's a man's voice. It's if you listen, it's that same voice.
Randy, that's so unoriginal. I'm disappointed in you.
Maybe that's because I'm not Randy.
Yup, it's the killer. He's talking to her. He's just like, oh, you don't, this isn't who you think it is. And he ends up getting in the house and trying to kill her. But she fights back. She runs upstairs. She tries to call the police, but the line is dead. And then I didn't know you could do this. I don't even know if you could still do this. But she gets in touch with 911 on the computer and kind of sends them a little message. And then once she starts doing that, the killer goes away. And at that same time, 2 seconds later, hear Billy come in the window. Now she's frantic, hugging him, just like he was here. He was in the house. We gotta go. I don't know what's going on. And Billy's just holding her, hugging her, just like, it's okay. Everything's fine. And then a phone falls from his pocket onto the ground. Why you got a phone, Billy? Why are you that's not a cell phone. That's a regular old house phone. Why you got a phone with you? Actually, it could have been a cell phone. I don't think it was, though. He did it. So again, Sydney had already gotten in contact with the cops. So they get there and they arrest Billy. Because obviously, he has the phone. She got the call from somebody and bam, they find the mask outside the house. He did it. He just got rid of the costume real quick and then climbed up her window like nothing happened. We know what's going on. And then clockwork, there's this news reporter. Her name is Gail Weathers. She comes up trying to get the story. She's always lurking around somewhere trying to get another news story. Now they're at the police station and they're questioning Billy. Of course, he's pleading his innocence. I didn't do it. That wasn't me. Check the phone records. Do whatever you want. It wasn't me. And again, they still hold him because they have to do all that stuff before they can just release him. And Sydney's also at the police station until Tatum picks her up, and then they start to leave. Outside of the police station, that news reporter, Gail, is again trying to talk to Sydney and be like, hey, what's going on? What happened? Can you talk to me? And Sydney is just like, oh yeah, I can talk to her. How's your new book going? And then Gail's just like, oh, my book is going great. And Sydney's just like, oh, well, I love to buy it when it comes out. And then Gail said, I'll send you a copy. And then Sydney punches her.
So, how's the book? Well, it'll be out later this year. Oh,
I'll look for it.
I'll send you a copy.
Oh! I don't know why her sending her a copy of a book triggered her so much, but she punched her good. I'm sure she hurt her hand. Then that night, they go to Tatum's house, and they're about to go to sleep until Sydney gets a call from Tatum's house. When she answers it, there's the voice, which means that the killer wasn't Billy after all. But who is it? Next morning, we find out that Billy got released. They checked the phone records. Everything was clean. So again, obviously wasn't him. And then Sydney goes to school and again finds the news reporter. She's always talking around somewhere. Like, I understand you're a news reporter, and I understand this is a small town, but geez, you're always somewhere. She finds her and she's talking to her. Apparently, Gail wrote a book about the murder of Sydney's mother, and was basically saying that the person that was convicted of it didn't actually do it. There's a lot of missing plot holes. Of course, Sydney doesn't believe that. She's like, obviously it was him. I saw him do this. I saw him do that. And she's like, no, you never saw his face. You saw someone do this. You saw someone do that, which puts a little bit of doubt in Sydney's head and doesn't really know how to conceptualize that. So she just walks off. So then back in school, there are kids who are dressing up as the Ghostface Killer. Pretty insensitive. I know this is high school and stuff and immaturity, but Jesus, this person killed people. And Sydney sees that, can't take it, runs off and runs right into Billy. She apologizes because, you know, she just went with her first instinct based on how everything looked. And instead of just like kind of leaving it there, Billy starts guilt tripping her basically into trying to have sex with him. It's weird and it's gross. And he runs to the bathroom to go cry, whatever. There's some girls already in there. So then Sydney goes into the stall to hide. And then those girls are actually talking about Sydney, just like, what if she did it? What if she did this? And then they include her mom into it. And they're calling her mom a hoe. Talking about, oh yeah, like her mom sleeps around and all that stuff. Maybe Sydney's just like her and now she's trying to get like revenge for her mom, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what the hell that is all about, but the girls leave. Sydney comes out the bathroom, finds out she's still not the last one in the bathroom. And the thing is, I don't know if that was actually the Ghostface Killer or if that was just somebody dressed up, because people have been doing that around school, but they scare Sydney and she runs out. Outside of the school, Gail finds Dewey, again, the deputy, and she's kind of trying to sweet talk him. That way she can try to get more of the inside scoop, maybe follow him around to see what was going on. He falls for it, obviously. And after that, we find out that Stu, Tatum, and Sydney are gonna have a party. This is probably the worst time you could do something like this, but Sydney's just like, it's okay, let's just do it. Let's just have a party. And of course, everybody's gonna be there. Now this is after school, all the students are gone, but we're going back inside the school and we see the principal. He confiscated some masks from some students and he's kind of like playing around with them. Again, a little insensitive, but here we are. And long story short, turns out Ghostface was in the school and kills the principal. There's just a lot going on. And also the cops are still trying to investigate what's going on, obviously. They're trying to get in touch with Sydney's dad, but guess what? They can't. Sydney gave them at the police station the hotel that he said he was staying at, and was just like, I don't know where else he could be. They're trying to get in contact with them, but can't. Now we're at the party. Again, this is a small town where houses are very separated from each other. So there's not close neighbors by, which has its advantages. It also has its disadvantages. But you know who is close by? Gail, the news reporter. She's always around. She's outside the party and Dewey catches her. And again, she's sweet talking him to be like, oh, well, can I go in with you? I just want to, just maybe hang out for a little bit, or at least hang out with you. Dewey says yes. And Gail takes a little bitty camera with her. That way she can place it inside. And inside the party, everything's going as expected, you know, watching movies, hanging out, eating, underage drinking, all that kind of stuff that a high school party would entail. And while that's going on and people are kind of like talking and distracted and stuff, Gail takes her little camera she has and puts it under the TV. That way she can record everybody in that area, and back in the van, her cameraman can also watch what's going on. Now Tatum is about to go downstairs to get more drinks for everybody. And when she does that, we can already assume what's gonna happen. Ghostface pulls up, but she doesn't think that it's the actual killer. She thinks it's Randy. She thinks it's Stu. She doesn't know who it is. But it's him. And he, again, is trying to get her, stab her, kill her. But she's putting up a good fight. You know what? Most of the characters in this movie put up a really good fight, which just goes to show sometimes these killers are just like regular people. Fight them back. So Tatum's trying to get away, and there's like a little doggy door that's on the garage door, and she tries to like slip through it, which I absolutely think that she could have, but she got stuck. And then Ghostface turns on the garage door to make it go up. She can't get out, she's stuck, and she ends up getting crushed. So he killed her, but just not directly with his knife. Party's still going on upstairs. Nobody knows what happened. And then Billy ends up showing up. He comes to the door. He's just like, hey, can I talk to Sid for a second? Stu's just like, oh yeah, go upstairs in my parents' room and talk it out. They go upstairs. They're talking. You know, Sydney, again, is being apologetic for not being the same girlfriend or the same person she was before her mother died. Again, being guilt-tripped just to having sex. And it works. So Sydney's not a virgin anymore. Downstairs, again, they're watching scary movies. And Randy is really into, I think just in general, he's into movies, but he's really into scary movies. And everyone's talking and stuff. And he's just like, listen, if you want to avoid being murdered, this is the formula you need to follow.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie.
Rule number 1.
You can never have sex.
Rule number 2.
You can never drink or do drugs.
And rule number 3.
Never, ever, ever, under any circumstances, say, I'll be right back. Because you won't be back.
Now, by this point, Gail went back outside. She's with her cameraman, and they're just watching footage from inside the house. Dewey comes back outside, and he's just like, hey, I got some calls about an abandoned car. Do you want to kind of walk with me and see what's going on? Again, suspicious, but she's like, yeah, I'd love that. Meanwhile, inside, Randy answers the phone, and someone's calling saying that the principal has been murdered and hung up by a football post. Again, the same way that Casey and her boyfriend had been kind of, you know, murdered. So now all the kids are going to drive to go over there and see what's going on. Mind you, these are all drunk teenagers. First of all, no underage drinking. Don't do that. And this is for everybody. Don't drink and drive. We have so many uses of ride share, friends, all this kind of stuff. Don't drink and drive. So the kids all leave. They're driving down the road. And again, Dewey and Gail are walking down, and they get run off the road by those kids. But once they do, they find the abandoned car. Whose car is it? Sydney's dad's. Now back to the house with Sydney and Billy. They just did their thing. And then afterwards, Sydney is trying to express that she thinks Billy still might be the killer, which is wild considering what they just did, but I digress. And then Billy's just like, what can I do to convince you that it wasn't me? I didn't do that. Like, what am I supposed to do? And then here comes the killer. So obviously not Billy, because the killer just came from the back to kill him. So now Sydney's running for her life throughout the house. She ends up jumping out of a window. She falls down, and she sees the news van. So she goes to the cameraman and she's like, hey, I need your help. The killer's inside, blah, 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 blah. They're looking at the camera footage, and they see the killer is about to stab Randy in the living room, but then walks away. They open the van door. They notice the door is wide open. Unfortunately, the footage is on a 30-second delay. And you know what happens in between 30 seconds from then to now? Yeah, your cameraman dies. Cameraman dead, and then Ghostface stabs Sydney. But again, she is running for her life. She's gone. Dewey and Gail come back. Gail tries to be like, this is a lot is going on right now, and she finds her cameraman dead, and then she tries to like drive off to get out of there, but she doesn't make it far, and she ends up crashing into a tree. Meanwhile, Dewey, he went in the house to go investigate, but he ends up getting got by Ghostface as well. He gets stabbed in the back. Sydney sees that, and there's just a lot. There's so much chaos going on right now. When Sydney sees Dewey fall down, in the background, there's Randy and Stu both outside trying to frame each other, saying, he's the killer. No, maybe he's the killer. Someone out here. We don't know what's going on. And Sydney takes Dewey's gun, closes the door, locks them both out. And then here comes Billy from upstairs. He literally rolls down the stairs. And it's just like, oh my God, Billy, they're outside. They got Dewey, everything's going on. And then Billy's just like, it's okay, give me the gun. We're gonna figure this out. She gives him the gun. He locks the door. He opens the door. Randy comes in and he shoots Randy. Excuse me?
Corn syrup. Same stuff they use for pig's blood in Carrie.
Then Stu comes in from the back and Sydney's just like, oh my God, look what Billy just did. And plot twist, he's in on it too.
Help me, please.
Surprise, Sydney.
And you want to know what else?
Your slut mother was fucking my father. And she's the reason my mom moved out and abandoned me.
Killed her mom. That's insane. He killed her own mother. And they have her dad. I don't know how they got him, but they have him all tied up, duct taped up, all that kind of stuff. They have her dad. And long story short, their plan is to basically kill everybody and they're gonna injure each other and be like, oh, we're the ones that got away. So they literally go in to stab each other to make it look believable. But then Gail comes in and she kind of distracts them for a little bit. And it distracts them enough to where Sydney can take her and her dad away to go hide. And then eventually ends up popping out. She stabs Billy. She drops a TV on Stu. And then she gives Billy one more last shot to the dome to make sure that he's dead. And the movie ends with Gail giving her inside scoop of everything that happened that night. And that's the end of the movie. We got a 78% on Rotten Tomatoes. I honestly could think it could be lower, but one reason is because the movie was already kind of ruined for me because Scary Movie did such a good job of parodying it. Is that how you say it? That, I kind of saw some stuff coming. The end I did not see coming because that's not the same ending that was in Scary Movie. It actually being the boyfriend and the friend, like that, I was actually shocked. But I think it can be lower. And yeah, it was good. Nothing crazy. But let me know what you think. The reason why I picked this movie is because I think that Ghostface, the character itself, was such a... Everyone had that mask, like as a costume. Everybody had those costumes, and there's the ones with the blood, like you squeeze the thing and the blood comes in the mask, all that kind of stuff. So I was just like, you know what? I have never seen this movie, but obviously it's like a well-known character. Let's see what it's all about. And again, movie not too bad. But that's the end of my video, and thank you all so much for tuning in this Thursday to come and watch. If there's something that you agree with, disagree with, you want to say how good I did, or you have any movie suggestions for movies I should watch in the future, leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment. Don't forget to follow me on social media. Kemma's Never Seen It on TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky, Facebook, and Kemma's Never Seen on Twitter. And this wouldn't be a video of mine if I didn't express my appreciation and gratitude for you guys tuning in each week, each Thursday to come and watch me. If you just got here, I appreciate you too, because you found me, you watched this far, but I got more videos back there. So go ahead, check them out and let me know what you think. But that's the end of my video, and I will see you guys back here next Thursday. Bye.